Shalom, praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem HaRakah the bonus, the elder apostles, the great most on it rule well. Shalom to the brothers doing work, centering truth, pushing his word to the four corners. I just saw this article in the Times, and it's interesting because with what do you call it, with the Iran situation, it happened just after the Venezuela invasion. And the Venezuelan invasion was done on that invasion. Just them going up and snatching Maduro was done like the first blood moon of what do you call it, of 2026. So now you got, discussion about Trump moving troops into the Middle East. I think it's like 50,000 troops in the Middle East in around that region again, and like 10,000 or so got moved in I believe the past week. And Trump's been up and down dithering about what do you call it, about whether they're gonna make a peace treaty or whatever the fuck with Iran. So I read this. It says, "Is Trump planning a grand invasion of Iran on Good Friday?" It says the president's weaponized unpredictability is destabilizing the Middle East and the world, but there's a growing feeling that it's a ploy to buy time. And yeah, with what's it called? With Trump has been like a back and forth where it's like, oh, they come to peace talks, they're not doing peace talks. Oh, we're gonna bomb all the infrastructure. Or we're not gonna bomb all the infrastructure. It's been a back and forth, and because of that, it's just it's been a back and forth. So because of that, it's what do you call that? It's completely, who even knows what the fuck's happening, man? This guy's a maniac. So it says President Trump has suggested he could walk away from Iran and leave other nations to police the Strait of Hormuz, threatening that America won't be there to help you anymore. Traditional allies of the US told one day that he does not need them, another day taunted as cowards, and then told they should hurry up and go to the Strait, are wondering how best to respond or whether Trump is playing a different game altogether. And yeah, it's just pure confusion. It's a complete mess. And it's because that's how Nero is, man. He's a maniac. It says ever since the start of the conflict, Trump has been sending out a blizzard of conflicting messages. The war is won. It's not a war, but an excursion. Iran has 10 more days to stop fighting and make a deal. Shipping companies should show some guts. Iran should open up the Strait of Hormuz, and we don't need it anyway. In Washington, the ever-changing threats and demands are being referred to as weaponized uncertainty. That is not to sanewash the process, which is hugely destabilizing the Middle East and the entire globe. But there's a growing feeling that Trump's rhetorical somersaults are simply his way of buying time to prepare for a ground invasion. In other words, when he said the war could last 4 to 6 weeks, he meant it, at least for the initial phase of reducing Iran's ability to repel a raid, to retrieve its enriched uranium, or take strategic islands in the Gulf. So yeah, because it was like 4 to 6 weeks, and then the timeline started saying, okay, we're going to be done in a few days. We're going to be, it might, you need to prepare for like months of whatever. It's a complete it's pure confusion. Who even knows? So that says but Trump has also needed to convince markets constantly that a conclusion was just around the corner, especially at times of stress when it looks like the sell-off could be gathering pace. A pattern has developed of terrible threats, followed a day or so later by calming reassurance. Trump has huge belief in his own power to manipulate situations in his favor, even when the odds or logic are stacked against him. This was shown in his attempts to negate President Biden's election victory in 2020 when he told two senior Department of Justice officials, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me. They refused. So yes, it's all basically just a complete lack of understanding or clarity on what's happening. So it says, with his rhetorical brinkmanship, Trump has allowed the US military to build up troops it will need to raid Iran. If not to fight a prolonged land battle, this could enable a series of coastal forays to try to clear the land nearest the Strait of threats to shipping. the best time to do this is when markets are closed, especially if the military has only short, sharp missions in mind before they reopen. And yeah, that's been a strategy with what do you call it, with the like news where they'll saying like dump bad news on Friday when the markets are closed. Uh, Good news Monday morning when they open to kind of try and keep keep things from going too down, and then give them positive boost beforehand. Especially so, it says what they reopen. When better than the coming 3-day weekend when Wall Street in Europe will be closed will close for Good Friday. Will well I guess will be closed for Good Friday. And yeah, that's the main reason I'm bringing that is just another of those left hand side high holy days, and that's what a lot of what they the actions they'll do, the things they'll events they'll plan, they'll have them planned around the left hand side. There might be certain certain observations underway, and these things will um these things will impact them. It's funny as well. So next paragraph says this raises the prospect of an Easter ground offensive, despite the Pope's Palm Sunday warning that God does not listen to the prayer of those who wage war, which is funny as hell. It says, as usual with Trump, he's keeping everyone guessing, but he may be following a pattern, especially now that a 2,200 strong Marine Expeditionary Force has arrived and is being joined by thousands of paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne, as well as it's been reported by hundreds of special forces. It says Becca Wasser, a Bloomberg economics analyst, has carried out war game analysis for the Department of Defense from 2015 to 2025, said the troop deployments are real, they are in motion, and once they start, there's almost a strange inevitability to them based on how President Trump has used them in the past. So he's not one to just bring out troops and not utilize them. So that's just why it's like, I think the most the most like actionable part of this is that it is on on one of the left hand side high holy days, man. That Good Friday, going into Easter, which is a heavy left hand side high holy day. And you deal with the world, everyone's thinking about fucking Easter eggs, the Easter bunny, all those different observations that are done. Because why? They're looking at these things like, oh, what do you call it? We're gonna. Yeah, they're thinking they're gonna gain something in their favor, and then it worked to their success with Venezuela, but then this situation's not working out as it seemed. The strikes didn't just come in. They took out Khomeini, but then even with taking they've not put an end to the conflict. It's still like weeks in, a month plus. So Isaiah 47:12, it says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast laboured from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. And yeah, stand now with thine enchantments. Those different observations. These things are the key aspect of how the elite conduct themselves. They deal with Satan. They deal with the left hand side. They deal with these observations. Soothsayers, as it says, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. And yeah, that's kind of the key of it. All those different observations being done, It's not going to work out to where you're then going to accomplish what is you desire at the end. Because even if this truth movement works, even if you receive that blessing on the left hand side, you're still being pulled into the web. Because you go into Job. It says what when he's about to fill his belly. But these are the way that they make their decisions. It says Jeremiah 10:2. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Yeah, the signs of heaven. That's a key aspect of how they do. They'll be like, okay, this is certain planetary alignments. Even with there was talk of what was it? Not Tesla, SpaceX, I believe it is, going public, and people are saying it's like I think June or July, when they're looking to do it. I think it was June, and they're saying it's when the planets are meant to be at an alignment that's quite rare. That's when he's looking to go public with SpaceX, which obviously is about them going up into the heavens. Certain observations they're doing. Then we know you got the scriptures of though they set their nest among the stars, whence will I bring them down. So it's going to be brought down, and then even with they dig into hell. All these different hiding places these elites are going to have. They're going to get snatched out of, and one is the Elysium up in the heavens. That's why you have those developments. So them planning these things about particular days, particular religious observation, high holy days and whatnot. It's it's a given. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom.